What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Alliance War. I'm fighting for the Alliance XMN. We're matched up against Tn3m. We're fighting in Tier 2. This is another Plat 2 Alliance. Their war rating is slightly higher than us, so this would be a good win to pick up. Trying to push for the end of the season here. This is what we have lined up. Got 5 fights lined up for us. We're heading up Path 4 in Section 1, Path 2 on Section 2. And then we have one fight on Boss Island, starting off with the Strife on Steady Build Up Fury, then Clair, 2 pretty straightforward fights, Luke Cage and Thor Ragnarok on Path 2 in Section 2, also pretty straightforward. And then we're fighting one of my favorite fights in the game, Stunning Reflection, Polka Dot Power, Killmonger on Boss Island. This is who we're bringing in. Trusty old Omega Red at rank 3, such a beast at Sig 200, he's there to take 4 fights for us. Then we have Human Torch at rank 3, Sig level 20, he's just there to knock down that Strife. And as per usual, when we bring Omega, we're bringing in Sabretooth. He's coming along for that juicy synergy with Omega Red, just allowing us to stack spores a little bit easier. Let's get into the first fight. Got Node 1, Steady Build Up Fury. We have 6-star Strife, pretty new to us. Strife's basic hits are all energy though, so this is going to turn into a basic Human Torch fight. Nothing really to worry about, medium, light, medium combos, and then we'll parry to build our smolders. So since this is the only fight we need Human Torch in, we're going to use our pre-fight. But here, I noticed that the black diamond icon doesn't actually show up, so if I were to enter that fight, my pre-fight would have failed to actually activate at the start, so I'm going to back out, go back in, black diamond is right there at the pre-fight screen, so I'm good to go. Always keep an eye out whenever you're using champs with pre-fight abilities, just so you're not taken by surprise at the start of the fight when your pre-fight ability fails. So here we're good. We're applying Nova Flames. His basic attacks are all energy based. You can see we're building smolders. And that's pretty much how this fight is going to go. We're going to bait his SP1. We haven't fought Strife in a while since his EQ was last month. So we're going to block the SP1 first just to make sure we have the timing down. No worries, it's not going to do a lot of damage. Plus it's just going to build a smolder. So now we have the timing down. We can dex it if we want to. This is the only fight that I'm using Torch in this war, so chip damage doesn't really matter. But in the blink of an eye, just over 30 seconds, Strife is down. Just a bread and butter Torch fight. Next fight, we have Clair on Steady Build Up Fury and Long Distance Relationship. Another straightforward fight. We're just going to let the spores do the work. Delay when we start our combos off the parry stun. We'll try and slow our combos down to build up spores. And then we're going to bait her heavy and her SP1 to keep the def build up, because when she's in the bleed mode, whenever she fires off both those attacks, she's immediately going to trigger bleeds on us, thus activating our def field, giving us a little bit of healing too, but I don't think that's going to be a factor here. So here we go. Nail our parry. Defender's not running limber, or if they are, they're running low point, so we actually have a nice extended stun there, allowing us to chill there, building up a few spores. And we're at 17, 18, we're at 20 spores here, and she's just belting the fight's almost over. We're just going to let the spores close her out. There you go, just over 20 seconds, she's down. So we're heading up into Section 2 now, on Path 2, straight counter combat power rate. We got a Luke Cage here. No need to really play around anything. I don't think we care about the straight counter combat power rate here. We're just going to try and build up as many spores as we can and just maintain them for the rest of the fight. And hopefully the damage over time there is more than enough to do all the damage we need. So here we go. Fight number 3. We're just going to try and build up as many spores as we can and slow play the fight. Miss a parry there, not great. We want to maximize the amount of time that we have close to the opponent while our bleed from double edge is up. But we're at over 10 spores now, and he's starting to melt. Still have a little bit of bleed left to stack more spores. And we're over 20 and we're cruising at this point. He's almost halfway down. Lock in our spores again. And we're about to close this fight. Super straightforward. We're going to let the spores finish off the fight for us. And he's down. 3 fights down, all pretty straightforward. Next up, we have a Thor Ragnarok on node 41. Same sort of thing, straight counter combat power rate. We're going to let the spores do the work as well, but we're going to be a little more mindful on delaying our combos and slowing down our combos as well. Just because when Thor gets hit 20 times, he's going to gain enough power to hit his SP3, and because of straight counter combat power rate, we're just going to ignore that. We're most likely not going to be at a bar of power to stop that power gain, so we're going to hope that our spores and our damage over time do enough damage to kill him before we get that 20 hit marker. So this is going to require a lot of parrying and just staying close, trying to get as many spores on him as possible, and just letting that do its damage. So we lock our spores in really early in the fight. That's a good start. We're going to parry just to stay close, conserve our hits. And I mistimed the heavy there. I should have heavied to lock in my spores, and as a result, he backed off, played a little bit defensive, and we lost a handful of spores. We're still over 10, which is okay. That's what we really need for the rest of the fight. Could have been longer. No big deal. We're still above 10 as we lock it in. And you can see we're just trying our best to stay close to Thor Ragnarok, letting that damage over time kind of melt him down. We're at 12 hits on him, so we have 8 hits left before he gains power, and he's down. So 4 fights down without a sweat. We're looking pretty good here. We got 1 fight left. We're going to head up to Boss Island, and we're going to take one of our favorite fights on the map right now. Node 53, a Killmonger with Polka Dot Power, Stunning Reflection, and Stun Vulnerability. We're really comfortable with this fight. We've taken this quite a few times, both when Stubborn was the meta and now when Protect is the meta. We're going to let our spores do the work. We're going to bait heavies or his second medium to get our combo openings. And the only thing we have to avoid in this fight is to not get cornered, and then that generally happens when he throws SP1s and then we miss our openings to get ourselves away from the wall. So we're going to try our best to bait his SP2 and maximize our openings here. So at the start of the fight, we're looking for him to fire a heavy, which he does. We're going to have counter with our heavy, lock in our spores. That's a good start. I'm going to be holding block a ton just to discourage him from firing off his specials, and then he fires off his special one. So that's not ideal, but we're still in good shape. We can lock in our spores again. We just have to make sure that we don't find ourselves cornered against the wall. That was his second medium. We did a good job of countering. He throws his SP1 again, which is not ideal. So here we're getting really close to being cornered. We have to nail an intercept, and we do a really good job there, and this fight's pretty much over. He fires off his SP2. Doesn't really matter. He's still melting from the spores. And 40-second fight. According to game plan, he threw his SP1 twice, which isn't ideal, but we did a good job of fighting that off and not being cornered. And that's the end of the war. We had 5 fights, which were all pretty straightforward. And we did a good job of playing clean, sticking to our game plan, and not giving up a death. So at this point, looks like we're going to pick up the win, which is huge for us. We're just knocking on the door to Platinum 1, and with 3 wars left in the season, I think going 2-1 in the next 3 would put us in a really good position to finish in Plat 1. So next week is the playoffs, baby. Catch you in the next war video. Thanks for stopping by.